Yet another mini PC has crossed my desk. This time is the Geekom IT15 AI mini PC. We're gonna unbox it, do a little tour of the outside of the hardware, open it up, look at the inside of the hardware, and then show off a little bit of performance just to get a taste of what this mini PC can bring to you. So first things first, let's take it out of the box. And spoilers, I've actually already unboxed it a couple of times, so this might not be exactly how it was boxed, but you know, I think I got it close. And the first thing you see is boom, there's a mini PC. Look how cute, look how quaint. We're gonna put this aside and look at what is in the rest of the box. We've got this little flap down here, which reveals a IEC cable with Mickey Mouse and a small power brick. Look at this. This is Highlyton. I've never heard of this company before. And let's see the power wattage or the output. I think it is a 120 watt, but man, oh, there we go. Yeah, 120 watt output, and it is a barrel charger on the other end. Also in here are some bags that I don't remember what to which. We got some screws to mount this to the included VESA mount. This also has the two sizes for VESA mounting, and a thank you card. Thank you for your support. No, thank you, Geekom. I appreciate you. Look at this. Thanks from the Geekom team. You know, makes me feel real special. Okay. Oh, and yeah, a quick little startup guide. You know, about how to open it up, how to install it, all that stuff. Whatever. We're gonna get into it. We don't need that. Now to the star of the show, the mini PC itself. It's so cute. It's so quaint. I like it, except for the finish. As you can see, it very much picks the oils up. You know, smudges, scrapes. I don't know if you're picking that up on the camera, but it is. You know, haven't manhandled this too bad, but it definitely has picked up a lot of scratches. Either way, it's all about the ports and the performance. So let's go over the ports. On the front here, we have two USB 3.2, which is 10 gigabit per second. You can see them clearly marked Type A ports on the front here. This one also is indicating that it has a power delivery out of the front, but I'm not finding the documentation on how much that outputs, though we can get some power delivery from the back. So we'll, yeah, TBD on that one. Off to the right, we have a Courageous headphone jack and a power button, which has a good click to it. This also does light up to indicate that it is on. On the right side here, we have a Kensington lock port, so nobody runs away with your mini PC, and some venting. You can actually start to make out a little bit of the layout of the system as well. So let's look on the left side. Yes, oh yes, this features a full-size SD card port here. Very happy about that. Most of these, if they do include an SD card port, it is a mini SD card, and I like that this one is a full-size SD card port. So good job, Geekom, on that. Now let's move around to the back. We have a whole host of ports that we can go through. On the left side is a barrel jack. Moving over to the right, we have one USB-C port here, as well as one USB-C port here. These are both USB 4.0, so it should be compatible with Thunderbolt 4 as well. Also, you can see that this little indicator here is DisplayPort, so this does have DisplayPort support. Also, this left USB-C port has a little power indicator here alongside the DisplayPort, indicating that it does support PD charging at 100 watts. So you don't necessarily need the headphone or the barrel plug. You could power it off of USB-C if you wanted. Now there are two HDMI ports, and they're indicating that it's HDMI 2.0, so not 2.1, not the latest standard, unfortunately. And then a 2.5 gig Ethernet jack, two more USB Type A, but one of them is USB 2.0. This one is also the same USB 3.2, which is 10 gigabit per second. Luckily, we have the indications clearly marked on here, which some mini PCs don't, so I'm glad about that. And we're also seeing more venting along the top side of the back as well. So looking at the bottom, we have those screws for the VESA mount. You essentially mount the bracket onto the back of the monitor, screw those in, and then just slide into the cage so that it's nice. And then we have 4 screws hidden underneath the rubber feet to get into the box itself. So that's a tour of the outside. Now let's check out the inside. So these are captive screws. There's not really an easy way to get your fingers in here. Maybe if you got long nails, but it's just easier to kind of grab the screws and pull up. I'm going to pull very lightly just in case there's any ribbon cables, but there is not. So, but we do see that the cooling solution for the M.2 is attached to the actual bracket itself. So, and you can see the little thermal pad. It is covering the whole M.2 SSD. Also, this does have support to slide in a 2.5-inch SATA SSD into the top, mount it here in this cage, and you know, expand on your storage solution. But let's set that aside and look inside the device itself. Right there is the M.2 2280 NVMe SSD. Configured here, we have a Kingston drive at 2 terabytes. Let's go ahead and unscrew that. Just one little screw to loosen that drive. We'll slot it out. You can see it is only single-sided, so it only needs cooling on that one side. And we have a Wi-Fi card here. Let's see, this is a Intel BE200. It doesn't say which Wi-Fi version, but I am going to assume this is 6E. If it's not, you know, maybe it's Wi-Fi 7. Either way, luckily these things are able to be removed if you want to upgrade the antenna capabilities. And we can see there's the slot for the pre-installed 2280, and we have another slot here. This one appears to be a 2240 size, so which is a little bit of an odd size, you know, and probably a little more cost prohibitive because of that. But either way, I do like that they include another option for an NVMe SSD. So essentially, you can have 1, 2, 3 drives, extra drives included in here, including the 2.5-inch SSD. We can also see the full SD card reader right here. Looks easy to access. Not much else to report other than the RAM. So we have 2 SODIMM modules. These are both 16 gigabytes of DDR5 6500 that was configured in this system. And they are user replaceable, so that is nice. We'll slot those out and see that, boom, yeah. Always nice when you can upgrade the mini PC. Okay, I am going to put the bottom back on, and luckily it has a nice little indicator right here to indicate this is the front of the device. And you can see here's the front of the device right here, so it goes like that. You can also see, actually, there's this steel cage around the inside like this. The outside is plastic, but it has this steel cage, and the little lip on this top thing slides right into there, so you're essentially mounting right to that cage, and it feels pretty solidly built. I appreciate that. The last thing to point out is that I did notice these 2 little notches around the backside of the top. The top is just plastic, so I'm going to wedge in here and see if we can pop this off, see what's underneath. This is all brand new to me. I did not try this earlier when I got it in. So hopefully I don't break it. Luckily I did all the testing already, so maybe it doesn't matter. Okay, so the top is popped off. You got to be careful. It does have these little, you know, just plastic kind of pegs holding it in, and we reveal the top. So it looks like we are seeing the top of the fan. So this does have an active fan that appears to blow out the back, so I think that's what that is. I think the intake is the sides and it blows out the back. But we're seeing a couple more screws, so you know what? Bear with me. Let's try to crack this open. How far can this rabbit hole go? Oh, there we go. Oh, okay. I just pushed on the top. Oh, can I? It's getting. Oh, this is the, oh, so look at this. Okay, this is interesting. Oh my, oh, I'm getting caught on the wires. So let me, these are the antenna wires. There's a little lip right here holding those antenna wires off to the side. So there we go. And okay, so wow, this is interesting. So you can actually detach the whole metal frame from the plastic housing. Okay, so I think that these 4 screws were holding it into the plastic housing. So that's what that did. And then the 2 screws that I unscrewed here is actually making this loose in the metal frame. So let's see, can I coax this to come out? Oh, there we go. Okay. Wow, this is probably the most I've ever deconstructed a mini PC. This is actually kind of fun. Got to be careful, those wires. So the antenna wires you can see are actually wrapped around the cage and taped down in here. So these are the actual antenna, like the actual antennas. These leads go to the NIC. But yeah, you can see that it's using that. And here, boom, yeah. So okay, so we can see the top of the package. I don't know if you can kind of see here. We see a little bit of copper heat pipe, and then this very large fan. I can't quite tell the diameter, but it's very large. You know what? Why don't we? I see more screws. Should we continue to screw things, unscrew things? But you know what? Let me take off these antenna leads. Okay, so now that is completely detached from the metal frame, and we have the body here. Okay, so I see 3 screws on the fan. Okay, so I do have the. Oh, well, that just fell right out. Okay. So there's the header for the fan, so I'm just going to disconnect this so we can get a look at it. Yeah, that is a very large fan. I mean, it's nice that that's very user serviceable. Okay, well, we see the battery down here, and then here is where we see the fins. It looks like it's just direct contact onto here, no vapor chamber that I'm aware of. Also, it looks like the VRMs have a little bit of thermal pads, and it is attached to this whole heat pipe scenario here. So you know what? Let's just go the whole way. Let's unmount the cooling solution and check out the thermal paste job. Why? For science. Okay. Oh, and look at that. It lifts right off. Okay, you can see the whatever thermal material, whatever TIM they're using. So yeah, we've got the pads on the, looks like the memory is on this side. No, it's not. So it looks like the VRMs, these little pads here, and then the thermal compound. We got 2 heat pipes that run to this fin stack. The fins are pretty tight in there, but still enough to blow through from that fan. So yeah, that is nice. Okay, interesting cooling solution. And then, surprise, surprise, you can start to see a little bit of the actual CPU package. Let me grab something to wipe it. Okay, so we got the thermal compound off, and you can see that it's a disaggregated architecture. You see that little rectangle there, and then 3 other rectangles. This is a Arrow Lake H. So this is an Intel Arrow Lake H laptop CPU. A lot of horsepower in here. So now that we've taken this thing apart, let's talk about performance. So I did not expect to do a full disassembly of this mini PC, but that was actually kind of fun. I feel like it is really hard to get into some of these mini PCs, but this one wasn't too bad. You just take your time. See what you can do with it. Let's go over the hardware as configured and sent to me and talk about performance. So like I mentioned, this is an Intel Core Ultra 9 285H. So this is the high end of the H series of mobile processors. This is an HX, so it's not the top of the line, but this is very high end for a mini PC. So this 285H contains 16 total cores. Let's go through them. We got 6 performance cores, we have 8 efficiency cores, and 2 low power efficiency cores, so LPE cores. So that is a total of 16 cores. No hyper-threading on all of these cores, but it is a very interesting mix of core structure on this little device, but it does pack a punch. That is a lot of cores for such a small device. The GPU architecture is an ARC 140T, not to be confused with a 140V, which is in Lunar Lake, which is XE2, and that is a very good graphics architecture. What is actually inside this 140T is previous gen, so equivalent to Meteor Lake, so not as good. I mean, it still has some performance grunt behind it, but alone, this processor is not really made to be a graphics powerhouse for gaming. Lunar Lake, I feel like, has that nice mix of power in the CPU and also GPU. This one is definitely favoring more on the CPU side. And the rest of the configuration is two 16GB DDR5 SODIMM modules, so a total of 32, as was sent to me, and then this 2TB Kingston 2280 M.2 NVMe SSD. For all this testing, I was running Windows 11, so the latest 24H2 as the time of this recording, and it was in a balanced power profile. So as configured on the website, there's actually two different configurations you can get. This is the higher end configuration. Right now, it is showing on sale for $1,100. When I checked this about a month ago, it was actually $1,200, so it seems to be creeping down just a little bit, but it is still a lot of power inside of this mini PC. So let's go over the performance numbers. Now, I don't have another mini PC with this same exact chip in there, so it's kind of hard to do apples to apples testing, but I did include a couple other mini PCs to, you know, kind of get a gauge for the performance level of this. And I ran it through some basic tests, including Cinebench, which is going to stress the CPU, not only in a single-threaded application, but in a multi-threaded application, which does turn in, thanks to those 16 cores, a pretty good number. I really appreciated that score. The single-threaded, not too bad, but, you know, like, the multi-threading is really where you're going to get most out of this chip. Did load up some more graphic intense benchmarks, including 3D Time Spy and 3D Mark Steel Nomad Lite. There, this GPU, even though it is not the newer XE2 architecture, it still turns in some pretty good numbers, and that's mostly because the CPU is doing a lot of heavy lifting. So it's kind of skewing the overall numbers just a little bit. And the last numbers to look over is the PC Mark 10, which kind of measures productivity tests. So things like web browsing, light photo editing, conference call, things like that. And I mean, of course, any of these CPUs are going to be doing good in that situation, but thanks to the grunt of the CPU, it does turn in a healthy score. So all in all, I do like this very small, very powerful package with some really good upgrade options in it. It is a little pricey, but once again, it really depends on what you would plan on doing with it. I think really the biggest downside is that because you can push a lot of wattage through this chip, this fan can get kind of loud, and it does have a little bit of a screech to it. It's not horrible, but it's one of those things that you would probably have to note if you're going to use it like right next to you on a desk. But if this is off in a server somewhere or, you know, underneath a TV, then it's probably not really going to bug you. But I'd be curious to see what you would want to do with this mini PC. So get down in the comments. Let me know, you know, what you like about these PCs. If this is something, if a configuration like this is something you wanted, or if there's a different kind of mini PC that you would like me to cover, or a different way to cover these mini PCs. We're still pretty new to covering mini PCs here at PCWorld, so always looking for feedback. Anyway, to see more mini PC testing, more handheld testing, more PC testing in general, be sure to subscribe here on PCWorld, and we will catch you in the next video.